Hello and welcome to all. A warm good morning to one and all students and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to deal with a very different yet interesting topic. So I want all of you to gear up for today's video. This video will have and include lots of activities and live worksheets. So kindly stay tuned and take maximum participation while the teaching is going on. So students, today I am back with yet another chapter. It's chapter number 5 from your class 7th NCERT textbook, and it is related to something which is there, which is the picture on the image screen. So here we can see something bluish in color, then we can see greenery, we can see trees, we can see pond, river, canal, spring, flush, lakes and etc. So have you got any idea what are we going to study in today's class, in today's topic? Any idea? You may comment or you may write in the chat box what all your ideas are. So today we are going to deal something not with greenery, not with coniferous plants and forest, but something which is associated with necessity of life. And we all know by now that what is necessity of life? It's water. So yes students, today we are going to deal with water and I want you all to take maximum participation while we are discussing this very important topic which will serve and form as a base for your extra lessons. Now, what is this which is there on the screen? What can you see? Okay, it's earth, fine. What else? What else can you see? Apart from earth, we can see different colors. Now what do these colors donate? We can see blue color, right? We can see brown color, right? We can also see something known as green in color. We can also see ice, which is white in color. So there are mixture of colors in our planet Earth. This is a satellite view of our planet Earth and this is having mixture of colors. Can, can you tell me, writing in the chat box or commenting, why is it having mixture of colors? Okay, we can see this part of Earth's surface is covered with ice. Okay, this is covered with ice. What about this portion? This portion is covered with brown things. Can we say mountains? Mountains resemble brown color. Yes. Okay, we'll write it mountains. Okay, then we can also see something known as green in color in few areas. This is green in color. Can we say forest? Dense forests? Yes. Can we say trees? Okay. And here we can also see landforms. So we can see that there are different colors which are there on our planet Earth. But the major part, the major proportion of the color is this blue color. What is this blue color? It is not the sky. It is water. Very good students. So today we are primarily dealing with water, water on earth. What is water? So before we proceed further students, let's have some look on to some images. Now, here we can see in the first image that person is dumping something garbage on the water, in the water. Here we can see water as a fountain. Here we can see water in the wells which is also required for these animals bathing and drinking purpose and for washing clothes. Few people bathe in the well water. They wash their clothes, they bath their animals and they do perform some extra stuff which is related to water. Now we can see that there are also pollutants in the water. With the help of this image, people are throwing some plastics, okay, and people are throwing some garbages in the water. So they are making it polluted, they are making it dirty, and when it becomes polluted and dirty, it is not safe for drinking. So basically what I'm trying to tell about the entire scenario is that what is the importance of water, right? These images show us that how water is important for each and every human being and living being. Living being does not only requires humans. Living being also requires pets, animals, birds, all those living creatures, ecosystem, flora, fauna. Everything requires water, students. So water is important for each and everything. Now, before we proceed further, the simple definition of water. We can say water तो भाई पानी पीते हैं, हम नहाते हैं, प्यास लगती तो हम पानी पीते, that is water. But it is something more. So water is a liquid. Always remember there are three states. We have solid, liquid and gas. So water is the liquid form that makes life on earth possible. Why possible? Because without water, life on our earth is not at all possible. We cannot survive. Yes, we cannot survive. So it is possible, everything, living beings are there in balance with nature. There are ecosystems, there are forests, there are trees, there are animals, plants surviving on what? Water, right? Now, as water cycles from air to the land to the sea and back, so that water shapes our planet. Now we saw that earth is having water, like water is like, these are the few landforms of earth, right? So now whatever is covered, this, suppose I'll paint this portion, suppose this portion is covered with water, right? So how this water is there? Because it is going back and coming down. So because of the help from this air, water, everything, sea, water is shaping our planet. That is why it is next important. Now, what is the most abundant compound on Earth's surface? We saw that water is having almost, it's covering 93% of the Earth's surface. In nature, water exists in solid, liquid and gaseous states. Liquid में water आ गया. Now solid is आइस बना लो, सॉलिड वाटर सॉलिड हो जाएगा. नाउ व्हेन यू फॉर्म steam, you take steam. When there were COVID days, you used to take evaporation, so that water vapor is there in the gaseous state, right? So these are the three types of water, states of water. Yes, now there's another thing that is related to water. Now those people, those students who are drinking lot of water from each and every corner of earth, they know that it is having no taste. It might be salty, it might be little sweet, it might have some rustic sort of flavor, but it is generally not having any taste. So water is tasteless, fine. Odorless. Now water has, does it has any nice pleasant smell? The smell which comes from flowers, does that type of smell come from water? No, it is having no smell, no pleasant smell, nothing. It's just smellless. So that is known as odorless. It is colorless liquid. What is having no color? It is having no color. It is light weight and it is colorless. So many substances dissolved in water, and it is also known as universal solvent. So all those substances, we will discuss it one by one about all those substances, but here just for your basic information that whatever substances are getting dissolved in water, you know, by air or by wind, whatever, so they are known as universal solvent because they generally mix with water. We cannot separate them afterwards. Water is essential to life on earth. Water is very essential. What if you will not get water to drink even for a day? You might feel sick, you might feel ill and you may die. So water is so essential, we cannot imagine life without water. And in its three phases, the solid phase, the liquid phase and the gaseous phase, it is equally important and needed for life on earth. Now, Think and share and tell me. Comment down in the chat box and also write somewhere in your notebooks. Make a list of sources of water and how. Share your thoughts on it. Like how does those water form sources and what are the sources of water? Sources basically students कहाँ पे मिलते हैं, कहाँ पे फॉर्म होते हैं, कहाँ पे क्या होता है, all these are known as sources of water. I think from my point of view, can we say river is a source of water? One source. What about ponds? Yes. Think sources of water. और कहाँ से water मिलता है? Okay. How does water collects in the rivers and ponds? Due to rain. So rain is yet another source of water. Fourthly, how do rivers form? We see these are mountains and the snow is melting from these mountains and that is coming and joining the rivers. So can we say snow-capped mountains are melting and they are joining in the rivers, they are flowing downwards. Okay, what else? So like this you need to think and make that what are the sources of water and how are they formed. So I hope this concept is clear to all of you. Now, there's a live activity worksheet for all of you. I need you to pause this video for 30 seconds and attempt this live worksheet. Fine. Water has dash color. Does it have red color? Is it black? Is it white? It is colorless, right? We discussed before also. Now, water has dash shape. It has zero shape. In whatever vessel you'll keep the water, it will form in that. For example, I am having water in this bottle. Now, if I'll keep this bottle in the deep freeze and if I'll freeze this water, then the water in this bottle will take the form of ice and ice will take the form of this type of shape. Now, if I'll keep water in a jug, fine, if I will keep water in a jug and I'll put it in the freezer and after few hours I'll take it out, water will take its form. When water is formed, there is ice. Now, ice will take its form. So, water has got no definite shape. In whichever container you want to keep and freeze it, it will take the shape of that container in its solid state. But the moment you keep out, it will turn back to its liquid state. Water has a good taste, a sweet taste. Water has zero taste. It is actually tasteless. And water has dash. Now the fourth one you will be commenting down in the chat box. So these are the most important and basic characteristics of water which we have just studied. So before moving further, I want all of you to look into this chart. Bodies of water. Now we as humans have body. This is my body, so this is my human body. Similarly, water has also got different bodies. Not one, not two, rather different bodies. Now let's see what are different water bodies. Waterfall is a river or other form of water which is coming down from rocky mountains into the pool. Now there are mountains over here. Now if water is falling here from height, so that is waterfall. Fine. Pond. Pond is an area which is filled with water. It is either natural. How it becomes natural? With the presence of rain, and artificial when people are creating pond. That is similar to lake. Fine. It looks like lake but it is either artificial or it is natural. So pond is another type of water body. Rivers. Now rivers is a natural flowing water course, usually fresh water, flowing towards an ocean. It is sea, lake or another river. So rivers kahan se aati hai? It is saying fresh water. So whenever we say rivers are having fresh water, immediately it should strike a bell in your head that okay, there are snow covered mountains, fine, and they are melting. So That melting comes down as water and joins the river, and then it flows in a course. It flows like this, and water is joined over here. Fine. So that is known as river. Ocean. Now ocean is just like river, but it is very huge body of sea water that covers about 71% of the earth's surface. So it is having 71% of the earth's surface is covered with oceans. And after this session, you think and they tell me which are the most major large oceans that are present in India. Lake. Lake we just discussed, like just like pond, lake is also a large water body which is surrounded by land. L for lake, L for land, but is surrounded by land, so that is known as lake. Wetland. Now wetland is another form of water body. This is a ocean, is a huge salt water which is salty, namkeen, khara, that covers about 71% of the earth's surface. So wetland is also covered for 71%. Fine. So these are the different types of water bodies. Water एक है, form एक है, but different areas में it is forming different bodies, so that's why it is different water bodies. I hope the concept of water bodies is clear to all of you students. So now water bodies and landforms. Now you must be able to draw lines and match the names with the pictures, right? So let's do together. You also do it on your notebooks, or mention one ka 1 hai, 1 ka 5 hai, and I'll be also doing mountains. I think mountains are these. We can see majority of mountains, snow covered mountains. Now let's come to island. Now island, we also know that this is island. Water is there, it is covered by land, is there, it is covered by water on all the four sides. Now we can say pond. Now pond is this. We just discussed this water body. Now waterfall, we were discussing that it flows from a height. So in which image is water flowing from the height? This image? Yes. So this is a form of waterfall. Now desert. Desert may absence of water. No water at all. So this is the desert. Now lake. Now we also discussed that lake is there and it is also covered by land. So this is lake. Ocean. Oceans we discussed. They are covered by 71% of Earth's surface. So this is ocean. Yes. Okay. Plain. There is no water. So this is plain. Now river. Where is river? River is over here, which is coming from the mountains and joining others, right? And valley. We also know that valley is having a narrow passage in path. So this is valley. So I hope up until here different landforms and water bodies are clear to all of you. So let's move forward and see what else. Okay. Now I can see that sun is over here. We can see clouds, we can see rain clouds, we can see river, then we can see few arrows, then we can see river, I mean lakes, ocean, whatsoever. Then we can see some arrows are going up. So yes, now we can also see trees are having this process and this is having this process. So what do you think? Is it having some sort of process or not? Tell me which kind of process are you able to see, and are you familiar with such process or not? Okay, think and then tell me. No need to hurry. This process, evaporation, then transpiration, that converts to condensation, then precipitation, then again evaporation. From here it is again having evaporation. So this is known as, it is एक cycle हो रहा है. It is forming a cycle. This will be the first step, then this will be the second step, then this is the third step, this is the fourth step, and then again this is the first step. This is a cycle that goes on and on, unending cycle. So we can conclude that this is water cycle. Fine. This is water cycle. Now how this water cycle is taking place, I'll be explaining you further. Now there are major 4 steps. In the previous slide also we marked 4 steps. So here also we will be having 4 different steps that are involved in the water cycle. Now, first of all, water falls from the cloud as rain, snow, hail or sleet. Okay, first May, if it's raining, so this is the cloud and this the water is falling on the ground. So this is the first step is complete. Okay, water cycle's first step is done. Now water that comes down, that flows into rivers, lakes and oceans. Water is coming down and it is flowing in this rivers to oceans, to lakes, to ponds, to seas. So second step is also complete. Third step. Now this is open space. इसके ऊपर तो सिर्फ sun है. We have the sun over there. Now energy, the heat energy from the sun makes some of the water evaporate and change into water. Now try this method. I'll give you one activity. Tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, whenever you get time, basically in the afternoon after, morning after 11 o'clock till 3 o'clock, go on your terrace, throw few mugs of water on the terrace ground, wait and see what happens. You will see that it is like this. It is evaporating. The terrace is drying up immediately. Fine. Q. Why is it drying up? Sun is there. The heat from the sun is falling on the ground and जहाँ पे water है that is drying up. After 10 to 15 minutes you will see जहाँ पे आपने मग से पानी फेंका था there is no water, there is nothing. सूख गया है पूरा फिर से वैसे ही. So that process of drying up is known as water is evaporating. So that is the third step. Now sun's heat is falling on this water and it is drying something. So third step is also completed, evaporation. And now the fourth step. When the water vapor in the cloud gets cold and heavy, it condenses into tiny drops of water. जो भी वो vapor बन के ऊपर जाएगा, whatever vapor is going like this into the earth's surface, they will form tiny drops of water which are turning into cloud. So basically clouds are tiny droplets of water that are a process of evaporation. So the fourth step is also complete. Now this is the fourth step and it is also complete. Yes. So this is the entire process of water cycle which we have just studied. Now let's see and look at the literal definition of water cycle, students. The sun's heat. Now suppose I'll draw one sun over here for you all to understand it nicely. Wait. Yes. This is the sun. Okay. Now the sun's heat causes evaporation of water into the water vapor. Now suppose sun is there and we have rivers flowing over here. Fine. Sun का जो heat आएगा river में, that will cause evaporation. Fine. So now what will happen due to this evaporation, students? When water vapor cools down, water vapor is going upwards and when it is cooling down, it forms clouds. It forms clouds and then it may fall on the land or it may not fall on the land in the form of snow. It can also form in the snow भी हो सकती है. In colder areas rain भी हो सकता है. ठीक है? So this is the water cycle which is all about. Now the process by which water continually changes its form and it circulates between oceans, atmosphere and land is known as water cycle. Fine. Now, it is a complex system that includes many different processes. Very simple. Only four system is there. There are only four system, but it is having different processes. Now, water vapor, okay, condenses to form a clouds, precipitates back to the earth in the form of rain and snow. So these are the different process of water cycle. Now, let's perform an activity together. Yes? So I'll be asking you and you will be commenting down in the chat box. Let's perform this very interesting activity and clear our further concepts. Now, cut out the words at the bottom of the page. Use your glue stick to glue each word. Even if you don't want to cut out, it's okay, no issues. You can tell me verbally. Now, what is the process going on? The first process is condensation. Okay, then second process is, this is evaporation. Yes, now this is forming into vapor, that is forming particles of small, that is known as precipitation. Yes, so these are the three different types of water cycle. Fine. Now let's move forward. Tell me what according to you is the correct option. Water converted into vapor. Now this water is now converted into vapor due to heat, sun's energy. So this process is known as evaporation. It is not condensation, it is not precipitation. Fine? Okay. Now, water का कितना forms होता है, we have discussed. Now what is fresh water? Water has got two types. We never thought that water will also have types, but basically water is of two types. Now fresh water भी होता है and saline water भी होता है, that is also known as saline water. Now fresh water, it is found in rivers, lakes and ponds, whereas saline water is found in oceans and seas. Why? Why it is not found over here? The question mark is why? There, what is the reason for saline water to not forming in this portion? The difference is when water is there. Suppose there are clouds, they are falling as rain on the earth. Now that rain, now we can see that there is also rivers. Fine, there are rivers. Now that rain is getting accumulated into this river. The fresh water that is coming from this cloud is a form of rain. That water gets accumulated in these rivers, in these lakes, and that's why they are fresh water, fresh from the clouds. Fine, it is fresh from the clouds. Now saline water is not same as fresh water, because बहुत टाइम से ओशियंस में, सीज में वाटर है. I know that water rain होती है and that water is coming and forming those with oceans, but still the majority of water is there in oceans and that becomes very salty. Due to its salty nature, it is known as saline water. Fine. So these are the two differences of water, fresh water and saline water. Now, distribution of water bodies. Now this is very important. Now I have prepared this chart for all of you. Now how water bodies are distributed. First of all, we need to think that how much water is there on the earth? That there are 90. Okay, suppose if all water is there in the earth. Now 0.3 water, only this water is used by humans. 99.7 water is not at all used by humans. You know why? Because it is saline water. That means it is extremely salty. Because of its salinity, you cannot use that water. So जो fresh water होता है oceans में, lakes में, seas में, we can use only that. Right? Now, distribution of water bodies. Now 3/4 of the earth is covered by water, out of which About 97% is saline water. That means it is very salty. It is not for human consumption. Now these are the distribution of water bodies. Let's see how are these distributed. Okay, oceans are having 97.3, that is saline and salty water. Ice caps. Now ice caps, which we can see here on the mountains, which are covered with ice caps, they are having 2% of the total water. Now distribution we are seeing. Groundwater, which is there beneath our ground, beneath our earth's surface, is only 0.68%. Islands, seas and salt lakes are only 0.009%, whereas atmosphere and river constitutes 19 and 0.1% respectively. So this is the distribution of water bodies, and this shows that what percentage of water on earth is having how much percentage, right? Now let's see the actual meaning, distribution of water bodies. So now distribution of water on earth's surface is extremely uneven. Kahin zyada, kahin kam. Tree, rivers, oceans will have something very different. Ice caps will have something very different. Groundwater will have something very different. Whereas, lakes will have something very different. So that is why they are telling it as uneven. Only 3% of the water on earth's surface is fresh, so that is used for human consumption. Rest 97% of water is there in the ocean, and because it is there in the ocean, it is very salty, so no one can use this ocean water for themselves. Very saline and very salty. Now out of that 3% of water on the earth's surface, the fresh water, 69% are there in glaciers, right? 30% is there underground, and less than 1% is located in lakes, rivers and swamps. Now we can see rivers over here, lakes also, and these are swamps. Now this is an image of swamp where we can see mud, vegetation and birds and water all together in one area, that is known as swamps. Now look at other way. Only 1% of the earth's surface water is usable by humans. Now humans, they are using only 1% and 99% of is situated in underground. Then still होना तो था ही ना water scarcity, because 1% of water is only usable. Fine. Now think and then share. Is saline water used for everything or not? We just discussed that what do we mean by saline water? It is salty in nature. So think that saline water, what are the uses of saline water and where will saline water get used? Fine. Think and tell me. Basically, this is a form of saline water. So I don't think from my perspective that saline water is used for everything. It is not even used for human consumption. Fine students. So let's end our today's topic, but few recapitulation questions which are there I need to ask from all of you. Okay. Source of fresh water is ocean, sea, river or none of these? Yes. Comment down quickly into the chat box, and the source of correct water is rivers. Why? Because rivers get fresh water from rain, snow and sheets. Okay. Now, so dear students, today we have learned about what is water cycle as well as distribution of water bodies on the earth's surface. Fine. So by now you can define and answer the following questions. What do you mean by water? Define each and everything that you know. What do you understand by water cycle? We ourselves completed that live worksheet in which we saw that what water cycle is all about. And lastly, what do you understand by distribution of water bodies? So here you need to also tell what do you mean by distribution and what are water bodies. So first you will explain about water bodies. What do you mean by water bodies? How many types of water bodies are there? And lastly you will tell by what proportion or by what percentage are they distributed. So I hope the concept is clear to all of you up until here. Fine. There's one very interesting homework. You need to prepare a chart. No more written work, only chart work is to be done. Comment, why do you think ocean water is salty? Now salty means saline in nature. And the second is quality of water is becoming progressively worse. Comment on this statement by justifying your points. So I need at least, this question can come in an exam for 20 marks. So I need at least 7 to 10 valid points for this. Okay. 7 to 10 valid points for this. So today we have completed one topic, that is water. What is water? What are water vapors and distribution of water and water bodies? So I hope the concept is clear to all of you. If you have any doubts related to this topic, this chapter, please feel free to comment in the chat box. I'll be waiting for your comments and doubts, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Till then, keep on liking, subscribing and sharing my videos. I'll come further with more such interesting videos. Till then, goodbye students. Take care, study hard, study well and enjoy. Thank you.